Every analyst on Wall Street talks about China buying gold. It is no secret. The People's Bank of China announces it every month. But they are ignoring the elephant in the room, or rather, the dragon in the vault. Forensic data shows a massive discrepancy in the silver market. China is the world's third largest silver producer. They are the world's largest silver refiner, and they are a massive importer. But if you add up production plus imports and subtract industrial use, there is a gap. Millions of ounces of silver have effectively vanished inside China over the last 20 years. They didn't disappear. They went dark. The smart money believes Beijing has built a shadow reserve of silver that rivals their gold hoard. Why hide it? Because you don't show your weapon until you're ready to use it. And in the war against the US dollar, silver isn't just money. It is the silver bullet. This didn't happen overnight. It is a multi-decade strategy. Remember, China was on the silver standard until the 1930s, episode 026. Culturally, they understand silver as money better than the West. In the early 2000s, while the West was selling off its strategic stockpiles to suppress the price, China was quietly buying the dip. They encouraged their citizens to buy silver bars. They banned the export of silver ore. You must refine it in China. They built the Shanghai Gold Exchange to create a physical liquidity hub. They have been playing SimCity with the global metal supply. While the US was financializing its economy, printing dollars, China was physicalizing its economy, stacking atoms. Now the US has debt, and China has the collateral. Why is silver the dollar killer? Why not just use gold? Because gold is purely monetary. If China dumps dollars for gold, it hurts the dollar's value, but the US economy keeps running. Silver is different. Silver is dual use. It is money and industry. The US military needs silver for missiles. The US energy grid needs it for solar. Silicon Valley needs it for chips. If China weaponizes its silver stash, they don't just devalue the dollar, they paralyze the American economy. They can squeeze the supply chain of the US Defense Department. This is asymmetric warfare. The dollar is backed by faith and credit. The yuan could be backed by the stuff you need to build the future. Which currency would you rather hold in a crisis? So how does the attack happen? The smart money envisions a controlled demolition. Scenario A, the withholding. China simply stops exporting silver, episode 25. They declare their stockpile a strategic state asset. Global supply drops 20%. Prices gap to $100. Western tech companies panic. They bid the price to $200. Inflation in the US skyrockets. The Fed is forced to print trillions to bail out the supply chain. The dollar collapses. Scenario B, the backing. China announces a new currency backed by its hoard. 1 new yuan equals 1 gram of gold plus 10 grams of silver. Instantly, the world realizes the dollar is backed by nothing. Central banks dump treasuries to buy the new asset-backed currency. The US bond market implodes. Either way, the silver stash is the checkmate piece. The reason this works is because the US has an Achilles heel. We have zero strategic reserves. The US government sold its silver stockpile in the 90s and early 2000s to suppress the price. We have no buffer. We are just in time. If the flow stops for 30 days, factories close. This vulnerability makes the US dollar fragile to a supply shock. China knows this. They have mapped our supply chain better than we have. They know exactly how much silver Raytheon needs. They know exactly how much Tesla needs. They are holding the oxygen tank, and they can pinch the tube whenever they want. What can the US do? They won't go down without a fight. If China plays the silver card, the US has 3 options. Confiscation. The US government could invoke the Defense Production Act to seize all domestic silver, episode 21. They could ban retail ownership. Remonetization. The US could try to front-run China by pegging the dollar to Bitcoin, episode 23, or gold, trying to restore trust before it's too late. War. History shows that when a hegemon loses its financial power, it uses its military power. A blockade of Chinese shipping lanes to force the flow of resources. Whatever the response, the era of free trade is over. We are entering an era of resource control, and in that era, the person holding the physical metal wins. This clash of superpowers will create massive collateral damage, and that damage is you. If the dollar loses its reserve status, import prices in the US will double or triple. Gas, electronics, food, clothes. Hyperinflation hits Main Street. Your savings account, in dollars, effectively gets deleted. But if you hold what they are fighting over, silver, gold, your purchasing power is protected. The price of silver isn't going up because silver is changing. It's going up because the measuring stick, the dollar, is breaking. This is the wealth transfer. Wealth moves from those holding the old money, paper, to those holding the new money, resources. Let's summarize the investigation. China has the silver. The US has the debt. The smart money playbook. 1. Recognize the threat. This is a currency war. Your dollar is the target. 2. Get out of the blast zone. Reduce exposure to long-term US treasuries. They are the asset that China is selling. 3. Buy the weapon. Own silver. If China weaponizes it, the price goes vertical. You want to be long the asset that is being cornered. 4. Physical custody. In a war, digital access can be blocked. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. The gambit has begun. The trap is set. This is the smart money wisdoms. The future belongs to the owners.